In an ancient village, a boy once stood by a river, staring at his reflection in the water. Every day he dreamed of crossing to the other side, where mountains touched the sky and the fields looked greener than anything he had ever known. But whenever he bent down to step into the river, fear whispered in his ear, "What if the water sweeps you away? What if you stumble on the rocks? What if you're not strong enough?" So he stayed where he was, watching the current, trapped by his own thoughts. And as the seasons changed, the boy grew older, yet he never crossed. The mountains remained distant, not because the river was too strong, but because his mind had built a stronger prison than the waters ever could. The boy by the river never realized that the true battle was not against the water, but against the weight of his own doubts. His thoughts chained him tighter than any rope, and each day he repeated the same silent defeat. "Tomorrow," he would whisper, "tomorrow I'll cross." But tomorrow never came. Years passed, and the boy grew into a man. His body was strong, but his spirit had grown weak. For every moment he had surrendered to fear carved a deeper scar inside him. And when he looked back, he saw not a life lived, but a life postponed. What he did not know was that the river was never as deep as he believed. It was his mind that made the water seem endless, his imagination that painted storms where only ripples existed. The chains were invisible, but they held him down with more force than iron. And this is where so many of us find ourselves today. We stand at the edge of our own rivers, staring at the dreams we wish to touch, whispering, "Tomorrow I'll start, tomorrow I'll change, tomorrow I'll rise." Yet tomorrow slips into the distance, leaving us rooted in the same place. The truth is simple, but hard to face. Our thoughts can either be the key or the cage. If you feed your mind with doubt, fear, and hesitation, you will stand still while the world moves forward. But if you fill it with courage, discipline, and belief, even the heaviest river cannot hold you back. The boy's failure is a mirror for all of us, because the battles we fight are not against the world outside, but against the world within. Think of how many times you've let your thoughts talk you out of action. You wanted to wake early, but the thought of comfort pulled you back into sleep. You wanted to start something new, but the thought of failure whispered too loudly. You wanted to move forward, yet your mind painted the road as impossible. The enemy is not laziness itself. It is the story your mind tells you about laziness. The enemy is not fear. It is the echo that convinces you fear is stronger than you are. But here is the turning point. Just as thoughts can enslave, they can also liberate. The mind that whispers you can't can be trained to shout you must. Discipline is nothing more than teaching your thoughts who is in control. Each morning you rise early, even when you don't want to. You break a chain. Each time you act despite fear, you cross a river. Each small victory builds a new voice inside you, a voice that believes, a voice that leads. Picture this: the sun breaking over the mountains, light spilling across the fields. The man finally steps into the river, the cold against his skin. Every step is heavy, but his will is heavier. The whispers of fear still echo, but now they are drowned by a louder truth: I choose to move. And as he reaches the other side, he does not just find the mountains waiting for him, he finds himself reborn. Because the greatest treasure was never the land across the river, but the strength discovered in crossing it. You and I are no different. The rivers in our lives are countless.
starting a dream, breaking a habit, building discipline, speaking our truth. The water looks fierce only until you step in. The fear feels heavy only until you act. And the moment you do, you realize the walls were never real. They were thoughts, and thoughts can be changed. So control your thoughts, and you control your life. Master your mind, and you master your destiny. Remember this: no chain is stronger than the belief you choose to break it with. The boy's mistake was waiting for courage to appear before he acted. Your wisdom must be this: act first, and courage will rise. In the end, the question is not whether the river can be crossed, but whether you will take the step. Because the only true prison is the one you allow in your mind. Control your thoughts. Control your life.